what's up? Jay Olos here, founder and CEO of One CFO. So today we're going to talk about what are the common pitfalls that founders get themselves into every time they build a startup. From a financial standpoint, of course, we at One CFO, we're a fractional CFO services company and a CFO tech platform, and we help founders grow their businesses through tech-savvy, tech-enabled financial management support. The first common pitfall that I see founders is that they don't put emphasis on getting the numbers, the accounting right in particular. Like when they do get into transactions, they just do it as if it's their own money. Like they don't take documentations, as simple as receipts or invoices, and they don't have a budget. So they always end up like burning a lot of cash. And then when the audit comes, when the tax authority comes knocking on their doors, they don't have anything to show that these are actually legit transactions. So that's really a recipe for disaster. You're already like facing a tax assessment with penalties, surcharges, not to mention tax deficiency. And no investor would want to fund you if you have all of those. So you really need to be careful. Second pitfall in financial management, treating the money as if it's their own money. What do I mean by that? Sure, you are the founder. You're able to raise from your investors. Investors entrusted their money to you, and you basically think that, I need to build this. I need to hire for this. I need to maybe spend a little bit of money in terms of marketing for this. So, I'm the founder. I can do whatever I want with my money. My investors entrusted this to me, so I can do it. Sure, that's correct. But let me tell you, you really need to think about it. All single dollar or peso that you spend from your investors' money needs to carefully thought out like 10 times. Why? Spending on marketing, let's take that for example. How can you ensure that every dollar or every peso you spend on marketing will be having a return? How are you going to measure that? Okay, let's take for another example, hiring. In a startup, the very first person is going to be you, the founder. Or maybe if you have a co-founder, 2 or 3 of you, right? Then you will be starting to hire the first employees. So this is a common mistake, especially here in the Philippines. I've seen a lot of founders get some sort of highfalutin individuals, advisors, consultants that are very expensive to the point that sometimes they just not only pay in terms of cash compensation or consulting fee, but they also give out their equity. Come on, you're being too short-sighted. Your equity is so precious. Why are you giving it for free? These advisors or consultants that you have right now, maybe 6 to 12 months down the line, you won't be needing them anymore because the startup is designed really to grow really, really fast. And sometimes it even outgrows at your own skill set at a very fast pace. If you have already partaken a piece of your equity, you cannot take it back. So in the beginning, if you were a startup founder, what you want to have in terms of your team members are those teams that really believe in your vision. They're super aligned on what exactly you're building. That's basically what matters. Of course, there should be like some sort of that skill set, right? Honestly speaking, because for me, I would rather hire the right people than the best people. The right people might not be necessarily those that are Ivy Leaguers or these people must possess one thing that's very important in any startup building process. What is that? Grit. Because building a startup is like, building from the unknown with the details that are also unknown, with the outcome that is also unknown. If it didn't work out, you need to change. But if your employees are very static in terms of their mindset and in terms of the things that they want to do, they don't have the flexibility that comes with it is the grit to redo things again. If it's so difficult, then what will happen then in your startup? How could you make it a success? Another pitfall on the financial management that I've seen founders grapple with is raising too much money. I myself have been an accessory to this for some of this. I've been a startup CFO, tech CFO for more than a decade. And, I cannot blame us because back in those days, there's no funding winter. In every startup idea, investors are just throwing their money at you. But now it's super different. That's why I'm sharing all our learnings now. So the tendency for you when you raise a bunch of capital, like a huge money, is that sure, it will be a huge valuation as well. And you'll be having all of those tier 1 VCs, really good investors of the world. But everything changes. Back in the day, remember when crypto was still the thing? There's a lot of investors that are really wanting to invest in crypto. Then all of a sudden, crypto tanked and they kind of locked in terms of their investment. a lot of founders, crypto startups also got bankrupt in a way. So all of a sudden, the thesis changed. So no matter how good the amount of money that you raise, think about the next, succeeding rounds. If the market changes, you won't be hitting any of the milestones that you set back in your seed round, back in your Series A. How can you now even raise money after that? So the tendency for you then, in order for you to raise money, you might think about or consider having a down round, which is very detrimental for you as a founder and to your existing investors. Instead of you creating value because of a down round, all of a sudden you have to take a huge cut in terms of your valuation, in terms of your ownership in a way. And what will happen also to your employees? Because you cannot raise any money anymore, you have to fire people. I mean, in any startup, that's the number one cost. And because of that, you will be, experiencing this reputational damage, stigma, things like that within the startup community, within the business community in general. So you really have to think about it. And last but definitely not the least, taxation, especially in the Philippines where we have a bunch of tax rules here. I mean, different tax rates for different transactions, and thinking that, oh, I'm still a small company. The BIR or the tax authority won't be coming into me knocking on my door because I'm just too little. No, even the BIR and the tax law itself is getting cognizant of the impact of the digital economy. And you, being a startup, being a tech startup, is a huge player in that digital economy. So they're also looking into you right now. You're now in their radar. So that's why I can tell you, maybe after your third anniversary, you might be receiving some letters from the BIR asking you, hey, how are you doing? Anything that we can help you with? Or, can we have a look of your books, things like that. It's not really a tax assessment or a law or a letter of authority, but it's more of like, I would say, a letter precedent to that. It's their indirect way of saying that, hey, you're now in our radar. And so, what do you do now as a founder? You really need to comply. You really need to get serious with your tax compliance. So gone are the days that, the BIR or the tax authority is not really looking into the digital economy. They are doubling their efforts now in looking into this because this is the future of business after all. And it's been more than a decade, at least here in the Philippines, that, we, the pioneers, have been working on this for so long. The legislations, the regulators, the government have started to notice, and they said, hey, you need to make your share. You need to make your contribution. So if you have problems in all of those things that I have mentioned, if you are saying, aray, tama yun eh, then all you have to do is to message me. We can talk about it. We can discuss it, and we can help you at One CFO to alleviate all those pain points that you're experiencing right now in terms of your financial management. If you like this video, please like and share this. And you can also subscribe so it can help more people, more founders like you, more business owners like you. All right. Thank you. Peace.